And welcome back, folks. Now we will continue talking to people. So, off camera, pull it up. I bought sugar cakes and, excuse me, thankful gifts. And, what those do is they actually boost your affinity with a person. So, I just bought a bunch of them, and then we got everybody pretty high. I didn't go all the way to the max with some of them. The reason why Liliana actually maxed out is because I guess it's just a random chance it'll give you like 42 points. So it just like shot up from like midway to here. I was like, oh, well then. There was no cutscene or anything. You don't get cutscenes unless you give them gifts or you talk to them afterwards, I think. So, yeah, let's talk to Sten again.
You are not quite as callow as I thought. That is unexpected.
Thanks, I guess?
You're welcome.
So you tell me now why you were in the cage.
I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware.
Exactly what happened?
I told you before that I was sent here. I was not sent alone. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell.
Yes, what happened to the others?
I am told no others survived. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand.
You probably dropped it on the battlefield.
Perhaps. I searched for it, and when that failed I asked my rescuers what had become of it.
And then?
I killed them. With my bare hands. I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
You panicked over a lost blade?
That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
Could you search for it?
If I knew where to look, it would be in my hand now.
Where did you fight the Darkspawn?
Near Lake Calenhad.
Don't worry, we'll find it.
Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
Okay, so we have a quest to find Sten's blade now. Let us talk to Shale next.
I see it found some augmentation crystals. I was not even aware it knew about them. Well done. So, what does it think? They don't make me look any wider, do they? I find I'm already too wide as it is.
Augmentation crystals obviously being like Shale's weapon and armor. No, they're quite slimming.
It must be the vertical pattern it put them in. Did it know to do that? It must have. I think it should find some more as soon as possible. I want to glitter from ear to ear, so to speak.
Okay. Oh yes, that is one thing I forgot to mention, is when you actually get their affinity up, you get stat bonuses for your entire party. Which is very, very nice. So, let's see. With, where's Liliana? There. Yeah, with Liliana we got max, so we get a massive bonus to Thaco. Not Thaco. Okay.
I've watched a lot of humans in my time. It should be aware that I've decided that it is not much like any of them.
Because I'm not human?
Oh, it's not just that. Well, I'm sure that's part of it, but it's not only that. Surely it must come from some superior lineage, yes? Some breed of flesh creature that has decided to elevate its genetic stock above its natural shortcomings?
Well, I am a mage as well as an elf.
Then that must be it. The humans have always spoken about elves being inferior, but obviously this is their own stupidity talking. I would appreciate if it didn't spread around that I said anything. Humans might start to get the wrong idea. They might start thinking their race is not completely hopeless.
I like shale. Let's see. Yeah, I'll keep it to myself.
Now, let us crush something into a fine paste before it starts to think I've gone all soft. Perish the thought.
Okay.
It speaks.
Very well then. You're still with me, I see.
Yes, its adventures are interesting, even if the chances for success are remarkably slim. It would be better to throw oneself off a cliff, I suspect. Does it wish me to leave? I can, though I see no reason to go.
No, stay, you're quite helpful.
No doubt. Without me, it would have to carry its inventory on its own. Perhaps we should continue. Its chances of success are small enough without further dawdling.
Okay.
It speaks.
I would have expected a golem to be different.
Different? Different than what? Different than a statue? Different than a log? Should I talk in a monotone? Yes, master, I exist to serve the master. I shall kill for the master and only for the master. Perhaps it expected me to have a booming voice. Recite limericks. I can recite limericks, if it likes.
I can't help it. Are they dirty limericks?
Mostly they involve slaughtering pigeons in creative and invasive manners. I have never met another golem. I have no idea what one might be like, or why I wouldn't be like them. Why? Has it met other golems? Did they not sound as I do?
You seem very animated.
I don't know what other golems might be like, but I am already superior by virtue of my free will. This is a good thing.
The control rod could always be fixed. Yes, I agree.
Imagine the benefits. No need to eat or sleep or perform other functions. Walk underwater, crush the heads of every opponent. The possibilities are limitless. Barring the occasional 30 years or so of paralysis, there's little to compare. Now stop talking so much. The wagging of its moist little tongue is distracting. It speaks.
Yes, it does speak. I have a question. I have some questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
Are those crystals in your skin?
I like to think of them as accessories.
Do all golems have them?
I suspect that it is an art that was practiced when golems were more, commonplace. My former master collected whatever lore he could find on the subject. He searched far and wide to collect what crystals he could and then added them. It is not an unpleasant sensation.
It's a dwarven thing, then?
So I would assume. My former master enjoyed poking around the ruins in the deep roads after all, and bartering with others who did. As I understand it, the crystals allow me to alter the flow of magic around me. Wilhelm had hoped to turn me into a battery of mana, something he could tap at will.
Interesting. But they can do other things too.
Some of the crystals increase the presence of mana, some absorb or reflect spells. There are various kinds. All I can promise is that, should it ever find one of these crystals, I can likely tell it the function and what it would do if added to me.
Would you be willing to have more added?
Why not? I don't get to wear clothing and other adornments like the rest of you creatures, after all. That answers its question, I assume? Unless it has more.
I'm told you killed your former master.
Did I not already tell it that I do not remember doing such? I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague.
Vague, but not non-existent.
Clever and true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall. My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells, and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think.
What sort of experiments?
Bah! I am no mage, and he did not explain himself to me, any more than it would explain itself to a sword. He possessed my control rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then nothing.
What do you remember next?
And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me, so they simply left me. And in time I forgot I hadn't stood there all along.
I see. You didn't wonder where he'd gone?
Wonder? I was glad that he was gone. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. Get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed. An acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring.
So it could happen again, then?
Frightened by the prospect, is it? It should be. Whatever the mage did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it is nothing to fear from me. Much.
I was simply curious about the story.
And now it knows, and doesn't it feel better?
Yeah.
Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again.
Okay, +1.
It speaks.
And I have a question. I
It
have some
doesn't
questions.
have better things to do.
No, that's the purpose of these next couple videos. You watch the villagers day and night for years?
I do not sleep, so yes, and I thank it for reminding me. Try to imagine, if it will, what it would be like to be surrounded by nothing but boring peasants, all oblivious to it.
Yes, that would be rather horrible. Horrid.
And then there were the birds. A whole village full of pigeons and ravens and sparrows all perching on me day in and day out.
Ah, yes, your bird thing.
It is not a thing. It is a perfectly reasonable reaction to being constantly pestered. I was helpless to react. Those foolish villagers would spread birdseed near me, drawing the birds, because they thought having birds perch on me was quaint. Quaint! If there hadn't been the occasional kind soul to scour me clean, I don't care to discuss this anymore. It speaks.
Okay.
It doesn't have better things to do.
No, just one. Oh no, there's more. Never mind. You don't seem to like humans much.
That is true. I do not. I'm not interested in getting into a discussion on the subject, however. Ask another time. If it is done asking overly obvious questions, let us find some humans to throw off a cliff, or something.
Okay.
It speaks.
And
It
questions.
doesn't have better things to do.
And we'll go with this one.
Oh yes, that I remember quite well. My former master, the Mage Wilhelm, he brought me. As I recall, he had acquired some position with whatever lord ruled the land. I, being little more than a glorified possession at the time, was brought along. Oh, how he enjoyed impressing the villagers with me. Gollum snarl at that villager there, be fearsome. And of course, I would have to do it.
Let's see. I would have thought you would enjoy scaring humans.
I'd have happily stomped them all into paste, and then ripped down their little houses and stomped on them, too. In fact, after 30 years of watching them, I'd do it twice. What I didn't like was being ordered to do it. Dangled in front of those frightened morons like some scary thing. Once I was a statue, it took those villagers years before they'd even approach me. The first one to actually work up the nerve to touch me urinated himself. Ugh.
Really? Oh, God. But why were you out in front of the town?
That is where Wilhelm kept me. He wanted me out in the open where I could be frightening like a scarecrow. I was supposed to watch for thieves. Pah! Plus, his wife didn't want me indoors. She said there wasn't room for me. Hag.
His wife?
I was once larger, 10 feet tall. Then the loathsome hag complained that I couldn't fit through the doors. So the mage had me shrunk down. Can it believe it? And she still wanted me out.
How does someone shrink a golem? Yes.
With a chisel. And a lot of nerve.
You didn't like this Wilhelm, I take it.
He did love using that control rod. Fondled it so much his wife actually threatened to throw it in the lake. Ha! I would have liked to have seen that. Which reminds me, where did it find the rod? Did it pay a great deal for it?
Oh, God. Oh, yes, a fortune, in fact.
Good. Clearly, I am worth it.
Yes, do you remember anything before then?
I traveled with the mage. He did a lot of traveling, I remember that. But where we went, it is rather fuzzy. I remember great battles, fighting many humans long ago. They were all very soft and squishy. And before that, No. There are only images. I was somewhere dark.
Just how old are you exactly?
I have no idea. Wilhelm used to brag that the dwarves stopped making golems centuries ago. I do not age as you soft creatures do. Sadly, my memory is no better. Plus, I get bored and stop paying attention.
Interesting. I'm done asking about this.
Good. I was just about done talking about it. It does like to have a good chat now and again, doesn't it?
Okay. Let us talk to Shale again.
It speaks.
And now can we actually
It doesn't have better things to do.
get the other option? So how did Wilhelm come to acquire you?
That part I know, as Wilhelm often bragged about it to whomever was willing to listen to him. He claimed to have found me in the deep roads. I was in the ruins of a Tig, he said, deactivated, with my control rod not far away.
What was Wilhelm doing in the deep roads?
It was a hobby of his, scavenging. One of the reasons he traveled so much is that he was looking for entrances into the deep roads, old places the dwarves had long forgotten. And then he would sneak down and search for magical treasure, before anyone was the wiser.
I see. Do you know where in the deep roads this was?
No, that secretive bastard refused to tell me. I would ask and ask, but no. He used to say that one day, if I were compliant and didn't talk back at his wife, he would take me there and I could look around myself. Rotten, lying bastard. If I had his head in my hands now, I would squeeze it like a giant lemon. Squish.
So if he hadn't found you...
I wouldn't have had to put up with the twit, and I would be none the wiser. I don't think I was aware while I was there. Not like in the village. Or perhaps I was. Perhaps that was the dark place, and I simply couldn't see anything. How long could even I sit in the darkness and stare out at nothing, never sleeping? Oh, I do not wish to think of that.
Yes, sounds quite horrifying. You don't know where you were then?
I think I remember a battle. It was long before, and then there was darkness. Ah, in short, no, I do not remember why I was there. It makes no difference.
Let's move on.
On then.
I want to see if I can
It
get
speaks.
this quest.
It doesn't have better things to do.
No, we cannot get it yet.
On
Okay.
then.
We must have to wait for a certain event in the story to actually get Shale's quest. Very well. Who is next? I think Leliana.
Did you always live in an alienage? Was it very terrible?
Sometimes.
I have never been to the Denerim alienage, but I hear that life is hard and there is so much squalor. In Orlais, most elven servants live in the homes of their masters, often in great wealth and luxury.
I bet some are treated cruelly like dogs.
Yes, but some humans are treated cruelly too. It is not just elves. A well-trained elven servant is highly valued in Orlais. They are nimble and dexterous, and many people find them pleasing to look at.
Let's see. So I should offer myself to some Orlesian noble?
No, I did not mean it that way. Oh, my words were clumsily chosen. I did not mean to offend. I am sorry.
Hmm. I am an elf, but more than that, I am a person.
Of course. I am sorry if I implied otherwise. Thank you. You have given me a lot to think about.
Okay.
Have I ever told you I really like the way you wear your hair?
Oh dear. Hmm. My hair, thank you.
It's very nice, and it suits you. Simple. Not like the elaborate hairstyles we wore in Orlais. They involved flowers, ribbons, jewels. One year, feathers were all the rage, and Lady Elise decided she needed to outdo everyone else, and actually wore live songbirds in her voluminous hair. The chirping was quite charming for a while, but you must realize, terrified little birdies often have loose bowels.
Hmm. Poor birds.
Yes, I don't envy them. She never washed her hair. But I was trying to say something nice to you, wasn't I? Oh, forgive me. My mind wanders so. It's just that I feel so comfortable talking to you, like I could say anything and you wouldn't judge me.
Oh dear. Well then. Hmm. Wow, that's mean. Well then, I already thought about this in advance. And I actually do like the way you ramble.
You see? This is what I mean. You're such a pleasure to talk to. I haven't felt this close to anyone in a long time. I really enjoy your company.
Hmm. Oh boy. Oh dear. And do you often enjoy the company of other women?
And what would you do if I said I do? Very much so, in fact.
Hmm. I'm flattered that you like my company then.
There's no one else I'd rather spend time with. Come then, let's get going. If I recall correctly, you have some important earth-shattering business to attend to.
Yeah, I decided, a while ago talking to my secretary that Leliana will be our romance option for this playthrough. Because,
I enjoy the nights at camp. The night always seems more peaceful to me. Safer.
hmm. I know what you mean.
I feel the night grants us a reprieve from the troubles of the day. Silly, isn't it? The darkspawn never sleep, and they lurk in the shadows.
Yeah, let's see. It is pretty silly, yes.
I enjoy those nights when we stand guard together, talking to pass the time in those small hours. Well, I talk and you listen mostly. Sometimes I succumb and fall asleep and wake to find you still watchful. And I know you're watching out for me.
I'd be a poor leader if one of you died on my watch.
What I'm trying to say is, is that I trust you. I'm comfortable around you. I know you'll be there when I need you. You are our leader and my friend, and sometimes I think that maybe we could be more than that. Maker, look at me stumbling over my words like an ill-educated peasant girl. Some bard I am.
Don't change the subject.
There isn't much more I can say. My feelings have been laid bare. You are very special to me.
I always wanted us to be more than just friends.
Really? No one told me. You felt the same way and didn't
That's
do me
because
the
I don't
courtesy
talk
of
to
informing
anybody.
me? You made me say all those things. Why couldn't you have said them first? Oh, you... Oh, how very awkward.
I thought you were comfortable around me.
Well, yes, but don't question me. I am a woman, and I reserve the right to be inconsistent. Why am I being such a baby about this? I must be a sight spilling my guts.
Yes, we're going with this option. These spotted guts make me feel loved and accepted.
Yes, I am fond of you, and I care about you. And let's go about our business before the others suspect something.
Ah, God, this is fun. Well, anyway, I'm going to cut the part here, folks. Until next time, until then.